in the marketing world, and where a lot of people, there's a lot of buzz lately about social media. So for the people who aren't immersed in all of this, give us a working definition and explanation of what is social media.
Okay. Really what's happened is on the internet, all of these companies have developed technologies that allow people to share information. Photographs, videos like on YouTube, or be able to post information, photos and blogs and updates on who they are and what's going on in their lives. So these are really tools for sharing and for networking with people you know, either friends and family, or like LinkedIn is more of a business kind of communication tool. So there are all of these amazing free tools out there on the internet that are allowing people to post all kinds of information and engage in conversation.
A lot of nonprofits, companies, politicians have started entering this arena as well. What would be the benefit to a company or a nonprofit or someone to enter this whole world of social media?
Well, the companies who are early adapters at jumping into social media have had a lot of benefits, because they've been able to engage their customers or potential customers in conversations. And when there's an issue, instead of that becoming something that's out of their control and out of their realm to respond to, they're actually in a conversation about it so they can respond to it. And the result of that has been incredibly positive for them. So, for example, one of the most famous companies is Zappos.com, which sells amazing shoes. And so they actually have a team of people who respond to emails about, hey, I got my order, and you can only order over the internet. Right. So they got their order, and there was something wrong, and then they take care of it. They basically walk people through the process using Twitter or Facebook or one of these social media tools to just kind of help people go through that, instead of people having to go to the website, find where the customer service section is, figure out what they're supposed to do. It gives a human touch to things.
I personally was having a problem with QuickBooks, and I posted something on Twitter about Uncle, I give up, QuickBooks beat me. And within minutes, somebody from QuickBooks had responded to me and said, what's your problem? How can I help you? I mean, do you see, and I have this as a non-accountant and a person who does not do well with numbers at all, have a very strong loyalty and affection toward Intuit now because of that.
Exactly.
Is this the kind of thing that you're talking about?
That is exactly what I'm talking about. And if you can think of it like, I had an experience at Subway that was not positive. So the first thing I did was I just went to their Facebook page. I typed in Facebook Subway. It came up #1 in Google. I went in there and I posted my concern. So yes, how they respond to that, what they do, will either cause a great deal of loyalty or will cause me to have a negative impression of them. And there have been a lot of studies out in the past year that have shown that now there's a huge percentage of people who expect the companies they do business with to communicate with them through these social media tools.
Men and women typically use social media tools differently. Explain those differences. Explain how you see those differences.
Well, the first thing about men and women and social media is that a lot more women are using social media than men. So the women are dominating the stats for Facebook, for Twitter, for several of the social medias. And then the ones that are dominated by men tend to be more technical, like a dig, kind of, commenting on technical articles or things like that. And I believe that there's some really good reasons for that. I mean, I think that women are kind of, they have a lot of value in their social networking in general. I mean, in life. I mean, social networking is important to them. Listening and communicating is important to them. They'll be more apt to complain or ask a question or, seek information. And also women now are spending most of the money. They are controlling or investigating, researching how to spend money and what to do and where to go and what thing to buy. So I think they're using these social media tools out there a lot in order to try to, again, deal with the fact that they are time impoverished. They don't have enough time. They're watching their kids, they're helping their kids with homework, they're cleaning the house, they're still taking more of the household chores on average. Again, this is surveyed, and this is data out there, and they're now working a lot. And because more women are also going to college than men, and more women are seeking higher education degrees, more women are just out there rising kind of to the top in a lot of different areas of the economy. And so they're earning more, they have more money to spend, they have more control, and they're out there using these tools because this is kind of a woman's tool, if you will. You know, I'm just going to ask my friends, I'm going to ask people I know, you know, I'm just going to ask the company, you know, what's the deal with this? Yeah, so they're going to just go in there and they're just going to get the information and jump on it. And they don't feel they have time to spare. They want to quickly make a decision, and this is faster than a lot of other means.
So this, even though women may not be the higher earner because they're the ones who control the checkbook, they're the ones who are using this tool to decide spending?
Definitely women are using these tools to decide spending, which is the other big reason why people need to be paying attention to the social media tools. They are just like the example that you described, you know, where you had a problem and somebody helped you using these tools. Or, you know, sometimes those tools are built into the website where, you know, I can go and I can post a question and I can immediately get a response. And sometimes even somebody will call me. That level of customer service is expected by more people, but especially by women, and it's really valued, and it creates a lot of loyalty.
You have been a very successful woman in business. Do you think that your approach to your business and to what women are looking for specifically, or maybe not, is different than your male counterparts? And how do you think that has affected the success of your business in a male-dominated field?
Well, I think that it's huge. You know, I think that from the very, very beginning, we've kind of jokingly talked about the differences between the men and the women in this company, but it is pronounced. And I would say that men typically tend to be a little more hierarchical. It's like, you know, who's going to make this decision, make that decision, and then we'll just do it. As a woman, I tend to want to get a lot more input than sometimes men have the patience for. And I want to deliberate it a little bit more and take some time to kind of take into account all of the information around it before moving forward with a decision. I will say that I maybe have created a monster because everybody in this company has input on almost everything, and sometimes, you know, it's like, you know, just have to make a decision. You know, it's better to make a decision than to be right sometimes. But so, you know, you can't deliberate too much. So I have learned a lot from being in business for 15 years now. So I know it's been a long time. But there definitely is a difference between men and women. You know, I think men, you know, expect, here's your role, that's all you do. And I think women are used to playing multiple roles. You know, they don't like to just be put in one role. They like to have input on lots of things. And it has served this company very, very well that we have a lot of people who understand a lot of aspects of the internet business, whether it's hosting or delivering emails, online marketing, social networking, graphic development, you know, download speeds. I mean, all of these things come together to create a really powerful, you know, online presence.
What if I not ask you about women in social media that I should have?
Yeah, I have a fun story. I did a seminar with several women, and many of the women had never used Facebook or YouTube or any of that. I mean, they were really not familiar with it. In fact, I kind of walked them through how to start an account, which is very, very easy. What was interesting is that this may be especially the case for Southern women, but there's a lot of concern about being rude. There's a lot of concern about hurting people's feelings. Because they're going to ask you to be a friend and you're going to say no. You know, they have trouble saying no. So what I found really fascinating is how women have learned how to act and be, and, you know, very much concerned about being diplomatic and kind and yet honest, and then how that translates into the world of social media. And it sometimes doesn't work. I mean, you do have to sometimes block people, report people, not be their friends, you know, in order to protect yourself. So That was interesting because a lot of the women I spoke to who had not been out on social media had not done so because they didn't feel secure doing it. They felt a little bit exposed, and so kind of their fears of potentially being hurt or having somebody know they were out of town, and break into their house, that was definitely a factor. The other factor was time.
Yes.
So time is definitely the big topic.